taking a moment to ground and center ourselves in the energy of sweetness. Ooh, the sweetness of that song, those words, the tenderness of the energy and the frequency available to us. In any now moment when we slow down and become more peaceful and more present, more compassionate and more neutral with the occurrences that arise and fall in this realm. Allowing heart to open, allowing the womb space to open and connect with the heart. And allowing the third eye, the pineal, the energy at the center of the head also to just come into harmonic resonance with the heart in presence. Take a moment to connect with Gaia, just bringing your awareness to her. You can do the anchoring cord if that feels good to you, or simply open up the channel that you have cultivated over this and other incarnations to be in deep connection with her, communion with Gaia, who is ascending, transforming, expanding in her own consciousness at this time. And then opening further at the crown to connect with divine Mother, Father, God, the presence of love, eternal divinity, the all that is, of which you are a piece, a part, an essential component. Unifying in the field together with your sisters here and those who will join us in another now. Return back to the heart for a nice expansive breath and release. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome, sisters. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join me here. I have a lot to share today. To begin, happy Valentine's Day. May this Valentine's Day bless you with the divine love, which we are all actually seeking to remember and extend in our world and in our lives. I'm getting really strongly already this message of the infinity wave. So what I would like to do is to, I had a whole other idea, but now this is what's coming in. So what I want us to do is take a moment and just place your hands on your, over the heart center area here, and just tune in to the heart frequency. This is our portal of divine connection with what we would call God, Goddess, the I Am, the eternity that we are connected with always and dreaming awake into remembrance. So just connecting in with the heart energy now. Notice what is calling you in the field right now? Something, it could be something in the body, like I'm feeling this hip thing that I've been dealing with. It could be something in the world. It could be, like a drama, a crisis, or just something that's got you, it's like niggling you. Or it could be something like a family member who you feel really could use some love or energy, or a loved one, or someone who's going through something that you want to extend love for. What we're going to do is we're going to do the infinity wave. We're going to begin with the infinity wave. So you're going to make a wave like a figure 8 from your heart to whatever that, just choose one thing right now. You can do this. Yeah, thank you, Mary. Mary's showing the infinity wave. So if you've got your camera on, or your view on gallery, you can see it. It's a beautiful water wave like figure eight. You could do it as an eight or sideways, either way. So you're making that infinity wave from your heart to something of your choice right now, someone, something, some aspect of your life that you know needs divine nourishment, needs to be bathed in love. So just take a moment now, and using the breath as your vehicle of momentum, just begin that infinity wave from the heart, extending to whatever that is. And actually, I'm being presented with the choice to extend this wave to the location where I'll be hosting my retreat starting at the end of next week. So it's up to you. There's no judgment, just extending that infinity wave now and making that connection. Divine dispensation, extending divine love, letting the breath give momentum to the wave from your divine spark, the secret chamber of the heart from which the illumination of God emits is present. This is your connection with God source. That heart, not the physical pump, not the green chakra wheel, the divine spark within you, extending that love, bringing yourself into a deep state of harmonious wave frequency, extending God's love. And notice the way the figure eight brings it right back to you. So in that wave, you may now want to encompass your entire body-mind vehicle and the energy layers beyond it and within it. So you are now really receiving that divine wave of love, extending, receiving in a deep presence of flow. Let yourself receive and bask in the infinity wave of divine love. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, allowing that infinity wave to come back into the heart space, let yourself come back into the room and present. As we shift now into the opening statement, the share I'd like to do before we go into group sharing. Okay. So I had big downloads today. I've been deeply, deeply working on my own self-mastery skills, and I had a bunch of things that came through to share with you. Okay, so let me just tune in with that. Okay, so our theme today is peace, presence, and compassionate neutrality. So that the compassionate neutrality has a little bit shifted for me to be compassion and neutrality, but I'll begin there. So for me, I really needed to receive my own compassion. So it came out a little bit as compassionate neutrality because my intention is to be able to look upon the world with loving eyes. To allow whatever the unfoldment of the collapse of the unloving systems, to not get caught into judgment about it as unloving things are revealed, as the battle seems to rage more extremely, as polarization gets extreme, to just witness in neutrality and with compassion. And from that, I really came into a deep knowing that I needed to have much more compassion for myself. And many things were revealed to me through my practices in the morning and through just my intention to activate it, really. Where and how I have not been compassionate with myself. And these are nuanced and refined. I mean, I've been for years been able to articulate to you that, yeah, when I was perimenopausal, I had this 6-month period and I knew that it was my divine feminine telling me that I was basically abusing myself, trying to drive myself like a man. But that was the information. This is like, and then I did things to attend to that. But now we're in a refinement phase. For those of us who've been on a spiritual path for a long time, we are really wanting to cultivate mastery now, a level of mastery that is not about the fundamentals, which is clearing early childhood trauma, other incarnational trauma, working on balancing feminine and masculine. It's not that we're not doing those things, but it's at a more subtle, nuanced, refined level of it, because we want to come into a place of mastery. And the energies of the masters include peace, presence, compassion, and neutrality, or divine neutrality, because we want to be able to hold a field of light, love, divine love, whatever you want to call it, God light. I like to use that term sometimes, divine mother's embrace. We want to be able to hold that field regardless of what's going on around us. And there's a whole lot going on around us. So, so what's happening now for all of the humans of Earth is that we are becoming more sensitive, all of us, because of the light that's coming in. However, those who have not yet um, delved into foundational work, which is trauma, resolving traumas, becoming self-aware, even if there's not resolving of traumas, simply becoming self-aware of the thoughts we're thinking when we don't think we're thinking, our behaviors that are unconscious, all of that. That sensitivity is very, very uncomfortable, because it's like they can't numb so easily anymore. So the projection becomes more potent, that more reactive, more acute, intense, more fiery, perhaps you could say. The numbing becomes more proactive, whether that's drugs, alcohol, TV watching, whatever. And that is true. It's like a spectrum of intensity, right? A spectrum of intensity. So those who have not yet done any self-awareness work, they're going to, react more intensely, project more intensely, numb more intensely. But we all have that temptation. So as we become more sensitive, we have the ability to actually activate more of our higher frequency energies, our clairs, our clairaudience, clairvoyance, all of that, and our sensitivity. So for example, you may notice that the things that you found entertaining before are just really, you can't anymore because they're too harsh, they're too unloving. Or that you can notice more if you're in a high frequency state and you scroll social media, you see one thing and it's like you immediately feel that drop. So attending to our needs in that way is super important. And I always use social media as because, and that's, I think, because I don't have a lot of interaction with, let's say, family members who are still in mainstream, but, talk to me in April when I'm in Connecticut, and, I'll be navigating that again at the next level of it. So just being aware that everyone is becoming more sensitive can open up that space of compassion more for us. Oh, look at, wow, they just seem to be acting more like a jerk than ever before, or more dramatic than ever before. Oh, it's because they're more sensitive and they have no tools. Or if you find yourself suddenly in a funk, it's like, wow, let me remember, I'm becoming more sensitive. And so my capacity to tolerate dissonance in my field is not as high as it used to be. I need more subtle awareness and care for my own energies than I did in the past. Okay, I never typed out my notes, so I've got to look down here at what came through my journaling today. So when we work with the light of ascension through daily practices, we also become more resilient. Okay, so there's greater sensitivity, but there's also the possibility of greater resilience. And that all comes down to how much we are leaning into our spiritual practices. Be attentive to how you start your day. Be attentive to how you start your day. Okay, so I became very aware of this. I had a rough day last Wednesday, which apparently a whole not wait, not this past was it this past Wednesday? No, it was the Wednesday before, I believe. I can't remember. It was a Wednesday. There was a big wave that came through the collective of light workers where grief arose, despair arose, and a great energetic that needed to be released. And I was heartened to hear this on the weekend. So, yeah, it wasn't this past Wednesday, the Wednesday before. And I noticed that what happened was so I'm going to talk about sensitivity and resilience here. Um, in order to call my family or Doug right now, I've been using Messenger. So on my phone, I don't have Facebook, so I just go right to Messenger app. But I like to be on my computer just because I don't want to carry the phone around to look at them. So I go on the computer, which means I go on Facebook. And I saw something that lowered my frequency immediately. I hadn't done any practices to set the tone of my day yet. First thing, because I woke up late, was to go on there and I started going into a deep funk about multitude of things in my life. And I did see a shooting star for the first time in my life that day. But long story short, I went into a deep funk. So I called Doug and he tried to encourage me. And then in the end, I was sort of annoying him because I was so in a deep funk. And I was like, you know what? Okay, we have to this. Let's do Rampage of Appreciation. I have to step up because I've dropped so low now. I can't just bounce up to some higher frequency. So we started going back and forth. I'm grateful for this cup of tea. I'm grateful for your love. And he would say one and I would say one. And it was literally like dunk, 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 until I came back to a higher frequency and I could really see how much more resilience I had than I've had in the past. So, sensitivity, resilience, and then setting the tone for the day. And this was a big piece that came through. Be attentive to how you start your day, evaluate if things need changing or upgrade. Intentionally set the tone for your day. This is a foundational mastery practice. Okay, so being really aware, are you still getting up and looking at your news feed, looking at your social feed? What are you doing first thing on the day? Goddess forbid that you have actual news on the TV because it's all propaganda now. But even if it wasn't, the frequency is really, really low because they look, what sells? Fear sells. So guess what you're going to get? The next big thing to be afraid of. So really, and so many of you already know this, but so this is now we're going to go to the nuance. So it's a foundational practice to begin your day with sacred practices, whatever they are. Notice though where some of them may be stale, rote, need something new, need upgrades, just to activate and engage your energies more. It's like, you could drink, let's think about like a really healthy tea every day or a really healthy juice every day. At some point, the body needs something new, something different. So it's the same thing with your energy field. So just notice, not everyone has the luxury of devotion to extended morning practices. However, we have many sisters here who are quote unquote retired, right? Not that we're retired. We're actually on our ministry now, our energetics. So we have the luxury of devoting, and for me, it's my work in the world is to keep my frequency high. We have the luxury of devoting 1 hour, 2 hours to our sacred practices each day, whatever they are. I have a variety of things that I do, and I'm noticing some new things coming in. So really, this is the time we have prepared incarnations for. Let us remember that in each breath. Leverage the time you have to be in sacred communion with your divine I am, with God, goddess, however you want to describe that higher frequency. This is serving the collective greatly. And of course, it's making your days happier, right? Okay. Evaluate if things need changing or upgrading, intentionally setting. Pause often throughout the day for reconnection moments with your heart and your mind. With your heart and your mind. Okay, breathe. Breath, sound, and stillness moments are key to, keeping yourself on track. So sound could be you om throughout the day, or you just have a time in the middle of the day where you're like, I'm just going to take a few breaths into my heart and I'm going to give an om just to get that, because sound is resonance, right? Or for me, one of the things I love to do, especially here when I'm alone, I begin the day with music, and sometimes it's dancing. Lately, it's been heart frequency um, music, kind of like melodic sounds that are have underlying frequency beats for the heart chakra, because I've been working so much with the heart chakra. But it's up to you. What's gonna bring you into harmonic resonance with your divinity, with your peace, presence, compassion, and neutrality about what's going on in your own life and in the world. Those are the components, at least for I'm sharing with you for this particular presentation, because these are the themes I'm working with. You may have others as well. But when you do sacred practices to start the day and pause throughout the day to just reconnect, you are allowing your mind, your heart to be more peaceful, your mind to be more present, and what I would call the womb space or the divine mother space to be more compassionate for yourself and others. And those together activate your ability to be in divine neutrality for anything that's going on in the phenomenal plane, right? Just like waves on an ocean, drama, things, issues rise and they fall, right? This is a very basic Buddhist principle. The phenomena rises and falls. When we attach to it, good things or perceived good things or perceived bad things, that's when we begin to suffer. So one of the things I've noticed in my own life, and that I've had to work through my own forgiveness practice with, is I have sacred sister priestesses that I have noticed polarizing to one side or the other. They are either on social media just freaking out about Trump and the world's going to hell in a handbasket, and it's this, that, and the other, and completely caught up in the narratives of what is complete propaganda because they watch TV news. And I have other sisters who are the other side, but also posting all the time because they've gone down into the alternative information and they see beyond the propaganda, but they're still caught up in a polarized energetic around this is our solution and blah, 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 whatever it is, whatever it is. We serve best when we hold the field of divine light in the recognition, as all our Course in Miracles students here know, we are divine eternal beings. This is a dream. Phenomena rises and it falls. It rises and it falls. When we come into that divine neutrality through being peaceful in our hearts, present with what is presenting, but not attaching to it, and deeply compassionate for self and others, then we actually have power. We have mastery, or we're growing toward mastery over this realm. And that serves greater than anything else. It also makes our lives a lot easier. Because we do have to engage in this world, and we will engage with sisters, brothers, parents, kids, people in the supermarket, spouses who are in a different energy than us. And to be the loving presence. This is Jedi, right? This is Obi-Wan Kenobi going, there's nothing to see here. And then the what are those guys in white, the bad guy soldiers, they go, oh, there's nothing to see here. Right? So this is where we want to be, in that space, if we want to be in high service as priestess leaders, as peaceful beings, right, on the planet. Okay. Uh, it is time for us to become masterful. This is what we trained for. And it's happening fast now. So sometimes we might feel like we're a little bit like scrambling to catch up. It's okay. Just take a breath. You have everything you need to come into peace, presence, compassion, and neutrality now. Just breathe, tone, set the tone of your day with sacred practices, and come back often as a touchstone to the heart, to the breath, to your own divinity. Okay, some other tips for this whole mastery thing that we're this mastery path of being the light we wish to see in the world. Remember that this is your initiation for graduation. You get to graduate potentially in this realm, and this is one of the tests. This is one of the tests. Can I align with God, love, light, intelligence when everything around me in the 3D realm is inviting me day after day, hour after hour to identify with something else? And don't take things personally. This one's been such a tough one for me because one of my core lessons is the need to be right, South Node Sagittarius. So, not taking things personally, remembering all the things that I was just saying and all the wisdom streams that you receive in your own practices. People are becoming more sensitive. They don't necessarily have tools. They're caught up in the narrative. They're attached, their identity is attached to being right or being on the right side of history or whatever it is, or that this world is super important, that we have to fix it from moving the deck chairs on the Titanic, right? It's who's in office or what policies. That's not how it's fixed. It's fixed by going vertical, rooting to rise, to weather the storms like a great tree in the storm, rooted well to rise into the light. So don't take things personally because people are really having a hard time right now. And that's a high calling. That's where our forgiveness work comes in, right? That's where forgiveness practice is the priceless gift that Jesus has given us to forgive, but to in the recognition that, oh, if I take it personally, I'm seeing some out projected aspect of self that's not yet healed, and it's that is showing up as a person in my life, a character on the screen, whatever, and it's pissing me off, upsetting me, hurting my feelings, all of that. Let me lean into my practice. Let me not take it personally because they have their own stuff. The individual soul is dealing with their own journey. It's none of my business. I don't know what their soul path is. How can I know what's the right or wrong thing for them? Let me not take it personally. Let me forgive them and let me forgive myself for getting offended by it or for projecting it out there as something that's got to piss me off to begin with. Okay. And then this is a beautiful one that's from the Ascension Mastery Guide that I work with, Sandra Walter. Ask yourself, when you see something that triggers you, what does this have to do with my ascension journey? My ascension journey, my soul's journey, not my physical life. Yes, will a change in the tax codes in our respective countries affect our lives at the 3D level? Yes. Will, the policies of XYZ, ABC, QRST possibly impact my physical existence? Yes. We are not at that foundational level in our consciousness. If you're here on this journey with me, we are cultivating spiritual mastery. So the question to ask is, how does this affect my spiritual awakening, my soul's journey back to God, my ascension, my graduation from this realm? Most things you will find don't affect it at all. In fact, you'll go, oh yeah, this is that test for graduation. I'm in graduate school and I'm about to defend my thesis. Maybe I'm in my PhD program and I have got to really look at, I'm here to defend my thesis that I am a divine being of love, light, and eternity. I am a divine child of God. Does what's going on in this arena, that arena, this person's agenda, that they're mad at you, this, that, and the other, does it affect your ascension journey? Only insofar as you can use it as a place to come back to peace, presence, compassion, and divine neutrality. Otherwise, it's not your business. You don't need to get your knickers in a twist over it. As always, as I share this stuff, please receive this, what works for you, release the rest. I'm not trying to lecture. I'm sharing with you what had come through. Okay. Okay. So let's just take a breath. That was a lot. I'm going to a little bit shift now. What's next? So just breathe in and receive. Allow, open into the heart. Come into presence with what's alive for you right now, what's happening in your body, what's happening in your energy field. Presence with that. Relax into that witness without having to judge it or resist it. Welcome the wisdom streams that can come from whatever's arising for you, from your own wisdom streams. Okay, some more to share. You may also want to ask now on your own ascension journey, what have I, this is a question I'm playing with right now myself. What have I delayed, postponed, or denied myself, which is actually a part of my blueprint, my soul blueprint, right? So then listen and wait and honor. Don't right away let the mind tell you, oh, well, it's that trip to Hawaii or whatever. Maybe it is, but give yourself pause to just sit in the question for a bit. You don't want to stay stuck in the question and grasp, right? We don't want to grasp anything. We pose the question, we put it out there. Spirit, show me. What, if anything, have I postponed, delayed, or denied myself, which is part of my blueprint? Because we are at the end of a spiritual season, and we are given the opportunity now to chase all of our idols, release them all, and let go of this 3D realm so that we can evolve and incarnate in other ways. So if there's anything there, and it could be a trip to Hawaii, right? It could be that. If there's anything there, just go into a meditative reflection on that and listen, but listen, wait, and honor what comes through from the stillness and from the that still small voice, right? Many of us have asked the question, and we still sometimes navigate that. What is ego? And what is my actual higher guidance? And we can get stuck in indecision. I just went through a big thing on this, which was the trigger point for that wave of grief that I went through last Wednesday, the Wednesday before this past one. This place of indecision about something, a decision that needed to be made. And the ego was coming in and, beating me over the head. Boing, 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 you're bad, you're this, you got to do it. Why can't you accomplish? Blah, 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 blah. When really what was being called for was a stillness, because I was putting the proverbial cart before the horse, but I had to be in it. And the falling star helped me. When I posed the question, literally was standing there all depressed on my balcony, I looked up and I was like, oh. And if I asked to pose the question in my mind silently, and boom, the falling star went across the one open space in the horizon, because there's a lot of tropical trees and stuff. So be in that stillness, ask the question and sit with it, and just notice if there's anything there that you want to experience in your life. And it could be, it could seem superficial, but there's something there for you. You don't want to go to the end of your life with regret for what you didn't do or experience, because that's a way to keep us hooked in here. And don't be hard on yourself if it's something you cannot achieve either, because maybe we'll just stay with the trip to Hawaii as superficial and slightly humorous, but maybe significant as well. So it could be that your finances don't let you go to Hawaii, let's just say, but that's the call. Okay, so tune into what are the gifts that would bring, and how can I activate that in my life so I become a vibrational match to it, and that allows it to come forward. Okay, so rather than staying into, oh, I can't activate this dream I had, go, oh, this keeps rising for me. It keeps rising for me. There's something there for me. I don't know what it is. How can I come into harmonic resonance with the energetic there in a loving, joyful way? Like, yes, there's something there for me. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to come into loving resonance with the infinite possibilities of the universe and allow, if not the actual experience, the teachings that were there for me from the experience to come forward. Okay. Okay. Ask yourself what nourishes my divine heart, as opposed to egoic identifications. What nourishes my divine heart? Another question to just put out there and just rest in the stillness, do your spiritual practices, and the answer will come. We cannot powerfully extend love in the world if we are disconnected from compassion for ourselves. This was the biggest lesson that I got from this year of the snake intention. We cannot powerfully extend love to the world if we are disconnected from compassion to ourselves. We can have beautiful intentions, but the potency of our ability to extend and emanate love is watered down when we are holding lots of judgment against the self. And that's why we do the foundational work before we go to mastery work, which is really release of trauma, resolving old wounds and resentments, all of that stuff, the foundation, becoming self-aware, all of that stuff. We do that so that we can create more potency, more concentration in our capacity to extend divine love. Just like you've got, tea infusions, a tea infusion, you put the herbs in a pot, you boil the water, let it come down so it's not at full boil, and then you pour it over the herbs and you let it sit for 3-4 hours, 2 hours, depends on the school you've learned from. And then you have a tea. But if you want to make a potent brew, like a cough syrup that's going to expectorate deeply stuck phlegm in the lungs, a tea isn't going to do it. You need an expectorant. You need a decoction. So what you do is you slowly simmer the herbs in water without letting it boil for hours and hours and hours. And the water steams off slowly, slowly, slowly. And what remains is a very potent medicine that you can then add honey to or something to, if we're just using the throat thing, because this is one time when a decoction is really, really great. So this is what we want to do. We want to increase the potency of our capacity to extend love. And we do that by forgiving ourselves, not holding resentments towards ourselves, extending deep compassion for our own journey in the recognition that, yeah, we're divine eternal beings and we've been having a human experience. So that's one of the ways to decoct, to create this potent syrup of love that we then emanate out through our divine compassion and neutrality. And all the other practices too, right? Coming into presence, not indulging the ego as much as we can, coming into peace harmonics, these things, activating the heart center, all of these things help create a stronger potency for our mastery, to be in service. The master is the servant, right? Okay, a few more things. Be gentle with wherever you are at. So I may have shared some things and you're already like, part of you's going, man, kicking myself. Why am I feeling, still indulging XYZ? Be gentle wherever you are at in your journey. This journey of awakening is no freaking joke. We have had a full lifetime in this incarnation or whatever, however many decades you had, plus many others, steeped in deep states of separation. Be gentle. Be gentle. We have the light at our back now. We have the wind at our back, so to speak. So we can accelerate quickly when we hold that compassion for ourselves and deepen into our spiritual practices. The more self-aware we become, the more we make loving choices for ourselves and we nourish our soul. So be gentle. You're still awakening. We're still in this realm right now. If you had mastered it fully, you would know it and you would be able to just drop the body, ascend, whatever, or become full, if you were fully Christed. So be patient where you're at, but know that you are also cultivating mastery as you work through these and whatever practices you have received from master teachers that you have, either in the non-physical or the physical. Continue to look upon the world with forgiving eyes, because forgive them, Mother, for they know not what they do. We are all one in this journey. And so the more we can extend loving kindness, hai, which means to give in Thai, hai, I'm saying the wrong tone, but metta, which is the Buddhist word for loving kindness or compassion. Okay, a reminder, spiritual self-care is not a periodic vacation from an otherwise stressful or ego-driven existence. And again, many of us here are either retired or this is our ministry, so we know that or we get to do that. But your spiritual self-care is a way of life. It's a way of life that may start out as having to seem like an unfun discipline because you're used to letting the ego be in charge. I got to get this done. I got to get that done. And of course, when you have little ones, extra challenging. When you have a highly demanding job, extra challenging. But that spiritual self-care pays in spades and is essential for your mastery journey as an awakening being in service to the light of love and our organic planetary ascension. Rooting to rise like a great tree is, I already shared that, is a way to engage the world from heart consciousness. So you root to rise, you connect with higher source self and earth self. You know that you're in a body, you don't denigrate the body, but you don't worship it either. It is the vessel through which I get to have this experience. Come into heart consciousness regularly. Do your forgiveness work so you can be present with what is without being triggered, and hold yourself with great compassion. This allows for divine neutrality, which is the shelter of the storm of these times. So take a breath. Let yourself receive this fully and completely, allowing all that serves your higher knowingness to come in and be part of you, and anything that does not serve to be released with the grace of God. Thank you. Okay, thank you, sisters, for receiving this transmission. May it serve you well. And I open the floor now to welcome your wisdom streams or your awarenesses. So just go ahead and unmute and you can go whenever you're ready. I know it was a lot today, so we can sit here in the